The moment of truth is finally here. Jury selection has officially begun in the high-profile trial of Laci Jolie Bowles, a case that has gripped Georgia for years. Bowles, now 43, stands accused of the 2019 murder of her husband, Daniel Lee Akers. She maintains her innocence, claiming his death was a tragic suicide. It all started on December 22, 2019 on Bray-Mill Court. Deputies responded to a frantic 911 call from Bowles reporting a possible suicide. Daniel Akers was found with a single gunshot wound, but investigators immediately noticed something was off. The physical evidence didn't match her story. The investigation hit a massive turning point in May 2020 when the Georgia Bureau of Investigation released its long-awaited autopsy report. The ruling? Homicide. The GBI concluded that the fatal wound was not self-inflicted, blowing the suicide theory wide open. Bowles was arrested and slapped with a laundry list of charges, including malice murder and tampering with evidence at the scene. Despite the severity of the charges, she was released on a $100,000 bond and has remained free while awaiting her day in court. A massive piece of evidence surfaced in 2025, a 13-minute audio recording from Akers' own phone, capturing a conversation between the couple. While parts suggesting infidelity were ruled inadmissible hearsay, the recording remains a central point of the prosecution's narrative. Enter Brian Steele, the high-profile attorney who has represented names like Young Thug. He's aggressively fighting to limit the state's evidence. Steele's mission? To prove it was a suicide. He's challenging the GBI's forensics and pushing back against the staging allegations. Forensics will be the heart of this trial. The trajectory, the blood spatter, the gun placement, everything is under the microscope. And don't forget the children. They were reportedly home during the incident, adding a heartbreaking layer to this complex investigation. Why did it take 6 years? Pandemic delays, phone access issues, and defense conflicts kept this case in limbo until now. The victim's family and friends have never stopped pushing for justice, waiting through every delay for this moment. As of today, multiple panels of jurors are being vetted. The official trial is expected to kick off any moment. Get ready for a clash of experts. GBI medical examiners and crime scene analysts will soon take the stand to prove their case. Prosecutors are betting everything on the theory that Bowles altered the scene to cover up a murder and stage a suicide. It's a classic true crime battle of narratives. Was it a tragic choice by a husband or a cold-blooded act by a wife? Court watchers are glued to their screens for live updates from the Paulding County Courthouse as this drama unfolds. Justice is finally coming to Georgia. Stay tuned as we follow every twist and turn in the trial of Laci Jolie Bowles. The disappearance of Cheryl Grimmer is one of Australia's most heartbreaking and controversial unsolved child murder cases. More than 56 years after she vanished, her body has never been found and nobody has been convicted. Cheryl Jean Grimmer was born in England in 1966. Her family emigrated to Australia in 1968, settling near Fairy Meadow Beach. Cheryl was just 3 years old when she disappeared on a hot summer day in January 1970. On January 12th at around 1:30 p.m., Cheryl's mother, Carol, decided it was time to leave the beach. Cheryl and her 3 brothers went to the shower block while their mother packed up. Minutes later, Cheryl was gone. A massive search began immediately. Lifeguards, police, and hundreds of volunteers scoured the dunes and the surf. Witnesses reported seeing a man carrying a small girl toward the road, but for decades, no trace of Cheryl was ever found. In 1971, a local teenager confessed to abducting and killing her, even describing a burial site near Balgownie. At the time, investigators rejected the confession, believing the details didn't match the location. The case went cold. In 2016, detectives digitized decades of evidence and found witness statements that had never been fully explored. In March 2017, police finally arrested the man who had confessed nearly 50 years earlier, charging him with murder. However, a judge ruled the 1971 confession inadmissible because no responsible adult was present during the questioning. Without the confession, the murder charges were dropped in 2019, leaving the family devastated once again. Cheryl's parents both died without ever learning what happened to their daughter. Her brother Ricky continues to fight for justice. Today, the case remains officially unsolved. Prosecutors are currently conducting a fresh review of the case in 2026. To understand the mystery, we must look at that critical 5-minute window when Cheryl was briefly unsupervised. At 1:33 p.m., witnesses saw her near the fountain. By 1:40 p.m., when her mother arrived to collect her, she had vanished. The suspect, known as Mercury, claimed he saw her separated from others and took her from the beach area. His confession included details police now believe only the offender could have known, yet it remains legally unusable. How did a child vanish from a crowded beach in broad daylight without a single confirmed witness to the abduction? No forensic evidence has ever linked a suspect to her disappearance, and her body has never been found. Despite the decades, the search for Cheryl Grimmer continues. Recent inquiries have renewed hope for a resolution. For the Grimmer family, the hope is simple: to finally bring Cheryl home and get the answers they've sought for over 50 years. Thank you for watching this investigation into one of Australia's deepest mysteries. The conclusion of the Preston Davey murder trial at Preston Crown Court has brought an end to one of the most horrific child abuse cases in recent UK history. Here is the complete breakdown of the timeline, the evidence presented at trial, and today's final verdicts. Preston Davey, also known as Elijah, was a 13-month-old baby boy who had been removed from his birth mother and placed into emergency foster care. Health professionals described him as healthy and happy during his first 9 months in the care of Oldham Council. The defendants were his prospective adoptive parents, Jamie Varley, age 37, and his partner, John McGowan Fazakerley, age 32. Jamie Varley was a former design and technology teacher who took a year off work to act as the primary caregiver for Preston. John McGowan Fazakerley was a financial sales manager who worked long hours, leaving Varley alone with the child for extended periods. The core of the prosecution's case rested on the rapid escalation of abuse that occurred in the 4 months after Preston was placed in the couple's care. On March 23, 2023, an adoption panel formally approved Varley and McGowan Fazakerley to adopt Preston. Preston spent his first night at the couple's home on March 31st. Within weeks, Varley began messaging friends about struggling to cope. By April 23rd, a video on Varley's phone showed Preston with bruising, indicating physical cruelty had already begun. Around this time, Varley also began taking indecent images of the child, adding to the horrific nature of the abuse. On May 11th, a 999 call was made but abandoned. In the background, Varley was heard saying, "Put it down." McGowan Fazakerley later called 111 claiming breathing problems, but they never sought the necessary medical attention. 2 weeks later, Varley took Preston to the hospital claiming a seizure. Safeguarding was contacted, but no alarms were raised. By July 10th, Varley sent a text to his partner stating, "I strangled him," later claiming it was a joke. On July 27th, Preston was rushed to the hospital unresponsive and was pronounced dead that evening. Varley claimed he drowned. The medical evidence was clear. Drowning was ruled out. Preston's death was caused by acute upper airway obstruction. Examination revealed 40 separate non-accidental injuries, including clinical signs of severe sexual abuse. The digital trail included indecent photos and texts where Varley referred to the child as dead meat. Varley maintained his drowning story and dismissed his texts as jokes, while McGowan Fazakerley claimed ignorance. Following 14 hours of deliberation, the jury returned guilty verdicts across the board today. Jamie Varley was found guilty of murder, sexual assault, child cruelty, and taking indecent photos. John McGowan Fazakerley was found guilty of allowing the death of a child, cruelty, and sexual assault. The case has sparked outrage over how the system failed to protect Preston despite many professional visits. An independent review will now resume. We end today in memory of Preston Davey. Rest in peace. The major development today is that the sentence imposed on Henry Nowak's killer is being formally reviewed by the Court of Appeal. The review comes after significant concerns were raised that the original sentence may have been too lenient given the circumstances. Henry Nowak was an 18-year-old university student just starting his journey at the University of Southampton. On December 3, 2025, his life was tragically cut short in what prosecutors described as a chance encounter. He was walking home along Belmont Road when he was attacked by Vikram Digwa using a 21-centimeter Kirpan-style blade. The case gained national attention not just for the violence, but for the shocking events that followed in the immediate aftermath. Body cam footage showed officers initially treating Nowak as a suspect after Digwa falsely claimed he was the victim of a racist attack. It took minutes for officers to realize Nowak was the victim, a delay that has since sparked intense public outrage. On June 1st, 2026, Vikram Digwa was sentenced to life imprisonment with a minimum term of 21 years before parole eligibility. The trial judge started from a 15-year minimum and increased it due to the callous nature of the crime. But today, Solicitor General Ellie Reeves referred that sentence to the Court of Appeal under the unduly lenient sentence scheme. This means senior judges will now decide whether the 21-year term adequately reflects the gravity of Digwa's actions. They have three main options: leave the sentence unchanged, increase the minimum term, or make other legal adjustments. The review follows significant public concern over both the murder itself and the initial police response at the scene. Critics argue the 21-year term is too low because the attack involved a large blade and a calculated lie to the police. Digwa falsely accused Nowak of racism after the stabbing, leading police to detain the dying victim while he pleaded for help. The circumstances have caused exceptional public outrage, with many calling for a much harsher deterrent. The sentence review is separate from the ongoing investigation by the Independent Office for Police Conduct into the officer's actions. Hampshire police have already publicly apologized for the treatment of Henry Nowak during his final moments. Henry's father, Mark Nowak, has been vocal about the need for a review of knife laws regarding ceremonial weapons. He emphasized that while he seeks justice, his son's death should not be used to fuel social division. The case also touched on political levels, with Prime Minister Keir Starmer strongly denying claims of two-tier policing in the response. So, what happens next? The Court of Appeal will now examine the sentencing remarks and legal arguments in detail. No hearing date has been publicly announced yet, but the decision will be a landmark one for the unduly lenient sentence scheme. Until then, Digwa remains subject to his current life sentence, with the minimum term still set at 21 years. The core of the challenge lies in the use of the large blade and the deception that followed the attack. A full inquest is also scheduled for September 2027 to investigate if the police delay contributed to Henry's death. We will continue to follow this case closely as the Court of Appeal moves forward with its review. For the family and the community, the hope is for a sentence that truly reflects the loss of a promising young life. Thank you for watching. Subscribe for more updates on this and other major legal developments. This is the breakdown of a landmark case. Dylan Phelan, a 21-year-old from England, jailed for encouraging suicide via video call. Phelan from West Yorkshire was sentenced in June 2026 following a harrowing investigation into his online activities. The victim was Travis Dyer, a 21-year-old from Louisiana, United States, who was seeking friendship online. Travis was experiencing significant mental health struggles and had recently suffered the loss of close family members. The two met through Discord, where Travis had initially gone hoping to find a supportive community. Instead, he became the target of sustained psychological manipulation by members of an online group. Evidence showed Travis was repeatedly encouraged to self-harm and engage in increasingly destructive behavior. Everything culminated on October 30th, 2024, during a live video call involving Phelan and others. During the call, Travis appeared on camera with a shotgun as the participants watched in real time. Prosecutors stated that rather than helping, Phelan repeatedly urged Travis to use the weapon on himself. Tragically, while still connected to the live stream, Travis Dyer took his own life. The act was witnessed by everyone on the call, and the entire event was recorded as digital evidence. The prosecution described Phelan's behavior as deliberate and persistent, a far cry from passive observation. The investigation was complex, spanning international jurisdictions between England and the United States. West Yorkshire police worked alongside international partners to secure evidence from Discord and other devices. Surprisingly, Phelan later attended a police station himself and disclosed his involvement, triggering the case. Phelan pleaded guilty to encouraging suicide, along with several unrelated image-based offenses. At Leeds Crown Court, prosecutors argued Phelan exploited Travis for his own cruel amusement. Judge Barry Cotter described the conduct as a serious abuse of a vulnerable person. On June 12, 2026, Phelan was sentenced to 6 years and 4 months in prison. He also received a 10-year sexual harm prevention order for the additional image offenses. This case is significant for its focus on the online encouragement of suicide and cross-border offending. It highlights the dangers of groups that target vulnerable individuals experiencing mental health crises. It serves as a stark warning that online actions carry serious, real-world criminal penalties. From the initial Discord messages in 2024 to the final sentencing in 2026, the timeline is clear. This prosecution sets a critical precedent for how international cybercrimes are handled in the UK. It underscores the necessity for vigilance and support within our digital spaces. If you or someone you know is struggling, remember that there are resources and people ready to help. The Dylan Phelan case closes a dark chapter, but its lessons remain vital for online safety. Thank you for watching this breakdown of a landmark case in digital justice.